everyone. Welcome back for another deep dive. We all know your time is precious, and we appreciate you spending it with us.
That's right. We're all about getting to the good stuff.
You got it. No fluff here, just those key insights you're looking for. And today we're strapping in and going for a ride.
Oh, yeah. Where are we headed?
Straight into the heart of World War II aviation.
That's intense.
It is, but also kind of amazing. We're diving deep into the story of a Republic P-47 Thunderbolt. But not just any Thunderbolt. This one was known as Rozzie Geth II.
Rozzie Geth II. Okay, that name definitely has a story behind it.
It does, and luckily we've got access to some pretty incredible historical records for this deep dive. We're talking detailed accounts of the aircraft itself, the pilot who flew it, the squadron it belonged to, and yeah, you guessed it, the origin of that really intriguing name.
So we're not just looking at the nuts and bolts of the plane. We're looking for the human element, the personal story.
Exactly. It's the personal significance woven into this specific Thunderbolt, its connection to the pilot, and the bigger picture of what it all meant during the war.
I'm ready to uncover those layers.
Me too. And I think a good place to start is with the man himself, the pilot who flew Rozzie Geth II into so many battles, Lieutenant Colonel Robert S. Johnson.
Now, most of our listeners probably know what a fighter ace is, but for those who don't, it refers to a pilot who shot down at least 5 enemy aircraft.
5 or more. That takes incredible skill and a whole lot of courage.
It definitely does. And Robert S. Johnson was one of the top American aces of the entire war, with a staggering 27 confirmed aerial victories.
27, that number just blows my mind.
It's an impressive feat, to say the least, especially when you consider his background.
Yeah, tell me about his journey to becoming this decorated pilot.
Well, he was born in Oklahoma in 1920, and from a young age, he was fascinated by aviation. You know, those early stories of World War I fighter pilots really captured the public's imagination. And with aviation booming in the interwar years, it's no wonder Johnson got hooked.
It was a time of incredible advancement and daring feats in the air. It must have seemed like the ultimate adventure.
It definitely did for many, and Johnson was one of them. He joined the U.S. Army Air Forces in 1941, and right away his talent was clear. He rose through the ranks quickly, showing a natural aptitude for flying and a real drive to succeed. This eventually led to his assignment with the 56th Fighter Group.
A group that would become pretty legendary in its own right.
Absolutely. But before we get to the group, let's stick with Johnson.
Okay, sounds good. I'm really curious about his experience in combat. 27 victories, that's not just luck.
Not at all. His combat record in the European theater is remarkable. He engaged in countless dogfights against the Luftwaffe, survived intense enemy fire, and consistently displayed incredible skill, resilience, and courage under pressure.
It sounds like something out of a movie, but with real-life stakes.
Oh, absolutely. Real-life stakes that were incredibly high. But Johnson's contributions weren't limited to individual acts of bravery. He also became a leader within the 56th Fighter Group.
So he inspired and guided those around him, too.
Precisely. He earned the respect of his fellow pilots and was known for his dedication to the mission and to supporting those who served alongside him. Now, as we mentioned, the P-47 Thunderbolt, Rozzie Geth II included, wasn't operating in isolation. It was part of a well-coordinated fighting force, the 61st Fighter Squadron.
And the 61st was under the command of the 56th Fighter Group, right? The one nicknamed Zemke's Wolf Pack.
You got it. Named after their commanding officer, Colonel Hubert Zemke.
Zemke's Wolf Pack. That nickname just screams fierce and coordinated, like a pack of wolves hunting in the skies.
That's a pretty accurate image. Their aggressive tactics and high success rate earned them that nickname, and the pilots definitely wore it with pride. They saw themselves as a unified force working together to achieve air superiority.
I bet they did. Okay, so tell me more about this 56th Fighter Group. What made them so special?
They were pioneers in many ways. They developed and implemented innovative aerial combat tactics that were pretty revolutionary for the time. They also had a very impressive combat record throughout the war, consistently proving their effectiveness in the European theater.
So they weren't just there, they were a force to be reckoned with.
Exactly. They were vital to the Allied war effort, playing a critical role in achieving air superiority over Europe. This was crucial for practically everything else the Allies were trying to do, from bombing campaigns to ground offensives.
It's easy to forget how important air superiority is when we're so used to seeing it in modern conflicts.
Right. But in World War II, it was a constant battle, and the 56th was right in the thick of it. Now, within this already impressive group, the 61st Fighter Squadron, where Johnson and Rozzie Geth II were stationed, really made a name for themselves.
What set them apart from the other squadrons?
They had exceptionally high morale and a very competitive spirit among the pilots. They also fully embraced the capabilities of the P-47 Thunderbolt.
And the Thunderbolt was a beast of a plane, wasn't it?
It was rugged, heavily armed, and known for its ability to take a beating and keep flying. It had 8.50 caliber machine guns and could withstand a surprising amount of battle damage.
So for the pilots of the 61st, flying a P-47 wasn't just a job. It was almost like wielding a powerful weapon with a team they trusted.
That's a great way to put it. There was a real sense of camaraderie and shared purpose among those pilots, and Rozzie Geth II, flying with them, became more than just another plane. It was a symbol of the squadron's excellence, their dedication to the mission, and their bond with each other.
And that brings us back to the name. You mentioned earlier that it was a personal tribute from Johnson to his wife, Rozzie Geth.
Exactly. It wasn't some random code name. It was a heartfelt dedication. And the aiding eye tells us that this was actually the second P-47 he named after her. He had another one earlier in the war, also called Rozzie Geth.
Wow, that's incredible. He obviously felt a very deep connection to his wife and wanted to keep her close, even in the midst of war.
Absolutely. And you see this quite often with pilots in World War II. Naming their aircraft after loved ones was a way to maintain a personal connection, a reminder of what they were fighting for.
It must have been a source of comfort and strength for them, having that tangible link to home amidst all the chaos and danger.
Definitely. It was a way to hold on to their humanity in a very dehumanizing situation. But the personal touches went beyond just the name. The plane also had unique nose art.
Oh, right. I read about that. Tell me about it.
Well, Rozzie Geth II had this beautiful hand-painted script of Rosamund's name on the nose, along with some other artwork that made it instantly recognizable, both to friendly pilots and to the ground crew.
So it wasn't just a name, it was a visual reminder of Johnson's love for his wife. And it probably boosted morale for everyone who saw it.
You got it. The ground crew especially took a lot of pride in maintaining his plane, the one with the special name and artwork. They knew it was more than just a machine. It represented something deeply personal.
It's really touching, it creates this whole interconnected web of pilot, plane, ground crew, and loved ones back home, all bound together by the symbol of hope and dedication.
It really does. And it's important to remember that Rozzie Geth II wasn't just a pretty face. It played a crucial role in the war effort. Under Johnson's command, it participated in numerous missions across Europe, contributing directly to Allied successes in the air.
And Johnson's own achievements while flying Rozzie Geth II earned him some of the highest military decorations, didn't they?
They did. He received the Distinguished Service Cross, the Silver Star, and multiple awards of the Distinguished Flying Cross. These weren't given out lightly. They were recognition of his exceptional skill, his bravery in the face of danger, and his impact on the course of the war.
It's really remarkable when you think about it. This one plane, named for love, flown with skill and courage and maintained with pride, played a small but significant role in a conflict that shaped the world.
Absolutely. The story of Robert S. Johnson and Rozzie Geth II really encapsulates the broader narrative of the 56th Fighter Group. Their heroism, their dedication, their sacrifices, they all contributed to the Allied victory in Europe.
And in a way, Rozzie Geth II becomes a symbol for all of that, doesn't it? It represents the personal stories, the love, the resilience, and the ultimate triumph over adversity.
I think that's a great way to put it. It reminds us that even in the darkest of times, even in a world consumed by war, these deeply human connections can endure and even inspire extraordinary acts of courage and dedication.
And it makes you wonder, doesn't it? What are the Rozzie Geths in our own lives? What are the things, the people, the connections that give us strength and motivate us to keep going when things get tough?
That's a powerful question for all of us to consider. What are those anchors that keep us grounded? Those sources of inspiration that help us face our own battles, whatever they may be. It's something worth reflecting on for sure.
It really is. Well, on that note, we're going to wrap things up for today. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the story of Rozzie Geth II.
And thanks for keeping those thought-provoking questions in mind. We'll see you next time.
See you then.